Hey out there, legal warriors. Have you ever wondered, is it better to hire a solo practitioner to defend a criminal case, or is it better to hire a law firm where you have multiple attorneys? What are the pluses and minuses of each? So if you're interested in that area of the law, if you happen to be dealing with this situation, stay tuned because this is the video for you. My name is Attorney Lance Fryrear. I'm a lawyer in Linwood, Washington, and I've been defending crimes all throughout Washington State for more than 20 years. And I'm putting out these videos to help educate the public. So if you find this useful, please like and please subscribe. More people will get the help they need. Now I'm just going to jump right into this. Solo practitioner versus law firm. Lance, what makes you qualified to even talk about this? Well, what makes me qualified is that I started out as a solo practitioner. I was a prosecutor for 7 years, and then I opened a law firm, and it was just me. For 3 years, it was just me, not even a paralegal. It was me and 2 flip phones. I would jump out of the shower, dripping wet, and say, "Law office," when the phone rang. I had 2 flip phones because one was Verizon, one was AT&T. Whichever one had the better signal, I sent it to. It was hustle, hustle, hustle. I did everything. And then as time passed, 3 years in, I got a paralegal. 12 years in, I got an associated attorney. And now 22 plus years or so, and somewhere in that range, now I've got 5 attorneys and 4 staff. So I've went through it all, and I can look back and see what the pluses and minuses were. So let's talk about that. The pluses of hiring a solo practitioner depend on how many cases that solo practitioner has, right? If they only have 10 cases going, well, they're going to have enough time to also run a business, because the business isn't that big, and devote all the time necessary to each of those cases. So like major felony attorneys, those people might be in a better position to really pay attention to certain cases if they only have 10 of them, and major felony attorneys could probably only carry 10, right, because they're so serious. Advantage also to a solo practitioner back when I did that is they pretty much knew everything about everything going on in their business at that time, right? It's like they knew the procedure for how they recommended to request a DOL hearing. They knew lots of things because it was just them, right? And what are some of the disadvantages of a solo? The big disadvantage is there's just one way of thinking, right? There's not multiple talents. I mean, I'm really good at certain things and not quite as good at others. And when you're a solo practitioner, you think you're the best at everything, right? Hey, I built this business, I'm solving these cases, it has to be me or else, right? We all think we can do it best until we learn otherwise. In any line of work or type, anything for the most part, whatever we're good at, we think, hey, we're the best at it and we need to do it for it to be okay. So that's one thing that could be an advantage for a solo, and one thing that could be a disadvantage. What about a law firm? Well, for a law firm, it really depends on the culture of the law firm and what's important to them and how they support their clients. I think the biggest advantage, if you have a law firm representing you that they work as a team, is you get, and this is a huge advantage, you get multiple points of view on each case. We do things called Trial Lawyers College, where we get to see that, hey, our point of view isn't the only point of view. Other lawyers get to chime in, and we play roles about playing witnesses in cases, and we get different ideas because each of us as humans brings our own life experience to every event. And every little crime that's out there, right, is like a little soap opera, right? It's a story about something that went wrong. And based upon what our upbringing was or our life experience, we have different points of view. And we sort of assume as humans that our point of view is the only point of view, or it's the correct one. Well, at the law firm, if we work as a team, then we can get, there's a female point of view, there's a man point of view, there's a, point of view from a person who grew up in a strict family versus not. And it's a real advantage in trying to, come up with theories of the case or ways to talk to prosecutors who might have a different point of view than that one solo practitioner might. And so that's something I've learned over time. The cases and the casework had to be pried from my dead hands because I thought I was the only one who could do them, but I learned that actually really qualified and skilled and caring defense attorneys that work for the firm that don't run the firm, they have an advantage because all their efforts is focused on defending cases, nothing on running the firm. You were to look at my day-to-day life, I talk to a lot of clients, I do a little bit of casework, but a lot of what I do is, running the firm, making decisions, supervising, giving advice. I get involved in cases where my skills are needed. And a really good law firm will find out what skills their attorneys have. They'll test, right, to say, hey, this attorney is really good at finding facts, FACTS facts, or this attorney is really good at legal argument, or this attorney is really good at financial cases, right, while this one isn't, it doesn't like those. In a single attorney firm, you're stuck, right, and there's no options for who can do what. So what's a disadvantage that people might think exists in hiring a law firm? Well, the disadvantage is that, hey, where's any personal attention on my case, right? That's what sort of the idea. Well, if they're a bigger firm, how will I be treated? Well, that all depends on the firm, right? Do they have processes? Do they have expectations? Are there certain requirements for making sure that clients are kept informed, right? And so this is not a video about my firm, but we do a very good job with that. But that's something you want to think about, and you want to pay attention to what the process was as you went through. So that's something that could be a negative that some people think about, but it depends on the firm. In my firm, I think that's a positive, but it wasn't always that way, right? I had to learn how to do this over time. I think another possible positive for a law firm is the ability for people to help each other, right? If a law firm really cares about their clients, I know in our firm that if we have a case go to trial, not one attorney is on the trial team, usually at least two attorneys are on the trial team, which means double the attorney power and hours and ideas in trying to help a client's life get saved, right? From their point of view, avoid a conviction, avoid jail time. And while a case has to get heavily litigated, the other clients are suffering because there's enough of a team to pick up the slack. I remember in my days as a solo, it was really hard when one case got really intense, right? I didn't have a way to, as a single person, to, avoid putting the other cases on the back burner, right? And you can get away with that in criminal law because continuances sort of help cases, but it's still a real advantage now to be able to have this team of people that work together. And so if you have that type of firm you're working with, it's good. There are, the ideas, and I think they exist other firms where it's just a bunch of attorneys working individually. And I think in that case, that's a lot of negative, right? I'd probably want to have a unoverworked solo versus a bunch of individuals working in a firm, because then I think the numbers start to work against us. So what about a solo attorney? What about them? Could be a negative if they go on vacation, right? Who's handling the cases when they're on vacation? I used to have to do that. I remember sending out letters, hey, I'm going to take this 2-week vacation. I desperately need it. I'm not going to be available. And that causes anxiety in anyone that's facing a crime, that needs that help. It causes anxiety. So we'd have this debate about what to do, because, even attorneys need time off. A law firm, hopefully, policies where only one person's gone at a time, and therefore there's never an interruption of service, right? So that's important. So what about costs? Is there a difference in costs between a law firm and a solo? I think there could be. I could see an argument that can be made that at least when someone starts out, they're usually going to be charging less if they're newer, they're less experienced. I figure most solos are going to be newer. And when you're less experienced and you're trying to survive, you're probably going to charge a little bit less when you're new. I think a law firm, given that they're probably more experienced and hopefully more skilled, there's a chance that they may cost a little bit more, but oftentimes, we get what we pay for. But that's something to think about, law firm versus solo. So in the big picture, I don't think there's a huge difference between hiring a law firm or a solo practitioner. I think the most important thing to look at is what is the intake process like, how responsive was the staff, what did the reviews say, how personal do they seem, how do you feel? Do you feel being taken care of? Because I always say that it's the attorneys involved that matter, right? All highly rated attorneys are hopefully going to be able to get a similar result for the most part in cases, because you can't predict the future, but they're highly rated for a reason, right? But not all highly rated attorneys are going to make somebody feel better throughout the way, because the person who punishes the person who's going to punish a defendant the most is themselves, right? Through all the psychological torture they're going to go through all the worrying and the fretting and the and just the difficulties of being charged with the crime. So those are some pluses and minuses. I've been through both sides. Right now, I really honestly believe that a well-run firm is better because of the sharing of the skills. I think a poorly run firm is worse. So, you're going to have to make your own judgments if you're out there deciding between law firm or solo, and this applies to all areas of the law, not just criminal. So I hope you found this helpful. If so, please like and please subscribe. More people will get the help they need. And more importantly, if you're in a criminal situation, feel free to reach out to us. My name's Lance Fryrear. I have a law firm in Linwood, Washington. We've been defending people charged with crimes for more than 20 years. And we'll listen to what happened, we'll identify a way forward, and we will be there for you. Thank you.